What if you could read your audience's mind? That'd be cool. You're up there speaking, things are going on okay, and all of a sudden you get a sense, oh, I know what the audience is thinking. And you just say to them, you might be thinking, and then you read their mind and tell them exactly what they're thinking. That'd be cool, huh? Yeah, right? Of course it'd be cool. It'd be a great thing to do. Because if you can read the audience's mind, then you understand what they're thinking, what they're about, and you can anticipate their questions. As you may know as a speaker, sometimes what happens, people get shot down, is because you don't anticipate what those questions are going to be. You aren't ready for them. As your audience is thinking certain things in their mind, you're not really there, and so they've got all these questions you never really address in your speech, you never really acknowledge them, and your audience thinks, yeah, okay, interesting idea, but no, I got this problem and this problem and this problem with it, so I'm not going to do that. And that happens a lot. But if you understand how to read your audience's mind, you can just acknowledge, hey, you probably have this problem, this problem, this problem with it, but don't worry about it, because here's why those don't matter. You just explain it. And all of a sudden people in your audience are thinking, wow, he just knocked out all the reasons that I had for not believing this, not being interested in it. Wow. Now I'm going to really get focused on it. I'm really going to pay attention. Well, some bad news and some good news. The bad news is, unless you're naturally clairvoyant, unless you're already naturally a mind reader, you can't read the audience's mind. This can't be done. However, if you do a little bit of preparation, you can give the effect like you're reading the audience's mind. You have to do a little bit of work beforehand, a little bit of effort, but at the end your audience is going to be thinking, whoa, that person gets it. That speaker knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to pay more attention here. That they get what's going on. This is somebody to pay attention to, somebody to be reckoned with. And you like to have that reaction for your audience. Well, it can happen. If you understand a simple process for creating this effective mind reading of your audience, and involves some things that hopefully you're doing already. At least 2 steps are really important. Hopefully you're already doing them, so that shouldn't be any big deal. It's the 3rd step's a little bit different. It's the 3rd step that creates the kind of the mind reading effect. But step 1 you should be doing. If you're a speaker and you're not doing step 1, then there's a problem. Things aren't really flowing, they aren't really going. Step 2 is something that's important. Once you do step 1, really ought to do step 2. It's step 3 to mention where things are a little bit differently. Things are a little bit different. You think, oh, okay, that's a different way of thinking. I hadn't really thought about that. Maybe. And you may be doing this already, in which case this will just kind of be a review for you. Because if you aren't able to read the audience's mind, the audience is able to put all those issues and those things that they don't really like in front, then all the way through, you think everything goes well, you think everything seemed to go great, they loved it, everything seemed to go fine, and yet at the end, you're not getting the buy-in. They're either not buying your products, they're not really coming up to you afterwards and asking questions, they're not really involved, and when they leave behind your handouts, and you can tell that you just didn't have much of an effect. However, once you get this simple process down, you'll notice that there'll be little subtle hints that your audience is getting, it's paying more attention. It's something much more into what you're talking about. They're with you. They get it. And that can just be a huge pressure off you. And you look around, know the audience is getting it. You see those nods, see those smiles, and you think, okay, this speech is going really well. To make that happen, got to create that effect of mind reading. The first first thing to do to create the effect of mind reading is something that hopefully you're doing already. Hopefully it's something you're already doing, you're familiar with, you do it on a regular basis, because it's kind of something really important for you to be aware of. Now, it's a little uneasy. It is a little uneasy, and it's the sort of thing, if you're just starting out as a speaker, you think, well, I don't know, I really want to go there. But it's important. The good news is it's simple. It is so simple today to do this first step. And once you do it, it's not such a big deal. Not such a big deal. It's like, okay, I can do that. Yeah, I'm giving a speech. Yeah, I can make that happen. When you make it happen, then you have something that really is going to be useful later. The first step simply is to record the speech. Record the speech. Some speakers get up there, they give talks. They go up there, they don't record the speech. So here's the thing. Basically, as a speaker, you may be aware that you give 3 speeches. You give this. First of all, there's a speech you plan to give, and there's the speech you thought you gave. There's a speech you actually gave. Most likely, you only know 2 of those 3 speeches. Sure, you know what you planned to give, you know what you thought you gave, but when it comes to what you actually did up there on stage, many speakers are clueless because they don't record themselves. So record yourself. It's a simple thing to do today. If you have a phone, most likely you have the ability to record yourself. And if you're already recording videos and uploading to YouTube, putting them on Facebook and Twitter, and here's a picture of my cat, here's a picture of my dog, here's a picture of that vacation we had, well, you certainly can record and upload your speech to YouTube. And if you haven't learned to do that, learn it. Learn how to video. Because if you are on Facebook and Twitter and all these other things, then people right now don't have, or they're being denied videos of your cat and your vacation and all the great things going on in your life. Wouldn't they love to have that video? Sure they would. You might even get a whole bunch of likes out of it if you learn how to video yourself. So just do it. Do it, upload it, and then you got a recording. And that's the first thing, to get that recording. The recording's so valuable because all of a sudden you will know what the heck you did up there. Now, some speakers, they go away from having given a talk and they wonder, gee, I think it went well. Don't know. Don't want to find out. No, just record it. Then the actual evidence will be there. Instead of being dependent on people afterwards saying, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think? You say, this is what it is. Still ask your audience what they thought, sure. But you have the recording, the evidence of what you actually gave. And that is huge. Now maybe you're thinking, Tim, I'm already recording myself. What's the big deal? I'm making such a big deal of this step. Well, if you're already recording yourself, great. You're already well on the way to becoming a better speaker. But the fact of the matter is, even if you are recording, there's a lot of people out there who don't. A lot of people out there who don't. And it's kind of amazing in this day and age of multimedia that people actually give a speech and don't record themselves. But it happens a fair amount. So just record it. Once you record it, not only will you have a record of what's going on, but you're starting to take this step into mind reading. That's right. You're starting to go down the step. It's the first step of being able to give that impression that you're a mind reader, recording your speech. Now, that's not it. There's an important second step you have to do, and it should go with the first step automatically, but unfortunately, it doesn't always. But you got to do that second step. Right. You're on your way to becoming a mind-reading speaker. You've done the important first step. You've recorded your speech. Are you done? Of course not. There's another step to do. But you did do the first step. You did do the first step. You recorded your speech. Great. Now you got to move on and do the next logical step. It's amazing how difficult it is for many speakers. Even the ones who record their speech may have real difficulty doing the second step. But it's absolutely crucial if you're going to become a better speaker and a mind reader. The good news is it's simple. Just make some time and do it. Once you've done it, then you're well on your way. The second step is simply listen to the recording. Listen to the recording. Hey, it's great that you recorded it. That's wonderful. That puts you ahead of a lot of speakers. But after you record it, then you have to listen to it. It's amazing how many speakers don't do that. Sure, they'll record it. They may have a bunch of recordings. You ever hear them? No. But there's an old saying I learned from one of my coaches. It said, look, Tim, hey, the audience had to suffer through it. You should have to suffer through it. Come on, your audience heard it, they listened to it, it didn't kill them, it was no big deal. You can hear the same thing. And if you are doing something really weird or strange, wouldn't it be better you figure it out now, as opposed to be wondering, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? You'll know what they think if you listen to the recording. Aha, hear that? Know what they think? That's the step of mind reading, right? Yeah, but you got to listen to the recording. Listen to the recording. And when you listen to the recording, just kind of listen to it a couple times. Just kind of go through it. Listen to it all the way first. Just kind of get that exposure. If you're new to listening to a recording, just go through it once. Just go through it once. And if you did happen to video the thing, just close your eyes. Don't even look at it, or just listen to it. Forget about the video. Just listen to what you said and how you said it. That's all. Listen to it. All the way through. And then, well, then you're almost ready for that third step. And in listening to it, pay attention to what you're talking about. Pay attention to what sort of things are going on in your speech. Pay attention to what you're thinking about. And what you think your audience might be thinking about. Remember, your speech isn't for you. The purpose of the speech is not to go up there and say, hey, I'm just the greatest in the world. No. The purpose of the speech is to get up there and say, hey, you can be the greatest in the world. Your speech is for your audience. It's the whole thing. It's all about your audience. Every speech you give up there, it's all for the audience. And once you get that, listen to think, okay, this is for my audience. What sort of things would they be thinking? Just use a simple phrase. You might be thinking, what is the audience going to be thinking? What's going through their minds? What's going through your mind? What's the background of the audience? What's their experience? When they're going through this and they're hearing it, okay, what are some of the things you're thinking? What are some of the things you're going to think that's against whatever you're saying? What are some of the natural things against what you're saying that pop right in their minds? Like, hey, wait a minute, buddy. I don't think so. That's not going to work because what is that? What is that? Just start thinking about that. Let that go through your head. You had to think, okay, yeah, but and what can I say in response to that? So they may be thinking this, what can I say in response to that? How do I counter that? Sure, you think it's impossible because of this, but actually it's quite possible because of what? So as you're listening to the recording, get these ideas and these thoughts in your mind. It'll be real important once you head into that third and final step. Very important. You're almost there. You're almost on the way to mind reading. First of all, you've recorded your speech. Great. Fantastic. And then you've even got your courage up and you've listened to the speech. Hopefully more than once. And you've had different ideas and different thoughts going through your mind. That's great. It's no problem. One more step you need to do to really make this mind reading thing work. And it's a simple step, but even as speakers do step one, hey, I got the recording, I'm listening to it. Third step can seem like too much of a bother. Hey, why bother? Not a big deal, doesn't really matter. And yeah, if it doesn't really matter to you that much about what the audience thinks about your speech, fine. But if you really want to make it work, do that third step. And that is to write down your thoughts. Write down your thoughts. Hey, it's great you videoed. It's wonderful. And you've listened, you've thought about things. That's great. But if you really want to take that speech of yours and really turn it into something that's going to be really great and answer their issues, then you want to write down those thoughts you're having. So if you do have a listing of, oh, well, here's some of the problems they're going to have with this idea right off the bat, just write it down. Common problems or common issues people will have with this idea are, and then just write them down. They won't like this, they won't like that, they won't like the other thing, and that, and just write them down. Because a magic thing happens once you write them down. Once you write them down, then they start becoming fixed in your mind. Because that's the way your mind works. When you're just thinking about things, your mind's kind of flying all over the place. Maybe this, maybe that, whatever. But when you write it down, that's like, oh, okay, that's serious. Your mind almost automatically puts in the brakes and says, whoa, okay, I get it. This is important. You're writing it down. I get it. That just puts it deep into your head by writing it down. And once you write it down, you can really start thinking, okay, here are the different objections they're going to have. Again, but which one of these is the most important objections? You can go back, take a look over the objections, say, well, is this one more important than that one? What are the big issues they're going to have? Where are they going to have these? So you go on through the speech, oh, boom, that objection is going to pop up. Okay, go on to the speech some more. Ah, they're going to have a problem here. Okay, they're going to have a problem here. Oh, yeah, this is not going to work. Yeah, they're going to have an issue here. And then how do I answer all those things? Just write it down. You can even write out your response, which will be in the format of something like, you might be thinking. In fact, use those 3 words. You might, 4 words. You might be thinking. And just say what they're thinking. You might be thinking, Tim, this is an impossible idea. It's not going to work. It's been tried before. Okay. So that's the format. Now, what would be a way to deal with that? Actually, although it's been tried before, there have been some problems with the way it was tried before, and it's going to work this time because of this, this, and this. So acknowledge, yeah, you may have a problem with this. Here's a solution. Now, if you want to really kind of up this up a little bit more, talk to some other people and see what they're thinking. Maybe show it to them. Show your speech to them and say, what are some issues you have with this? And then write down what problems they're saying they have with it. And the more people you run this by, the more people you talk to, the better way you can actually come into a speech and start mind reading the audience. Because you already know what those common objections are. You've already written them out. It's great. So write them out. Write them out. Start writing in other ideas and other thoughts. So everything gets written down. So there it is on the page. You got it. And then you can really start doing some thinking about, and then write down your rebuttals. This will work because of this. Even though this will still work because of this and this. Write it all down. And if you just do that, it will open up your speech. And you start doing some really good mind reading. That as a mind reader, it's impossible to read somebody's mind. However, you can give the effect of reading someone's mind if you follow these 3 simple steps. First step is to record your speech. Now, this is something you should be doing already. Recording your speech, making sure that you got some sort of record of what you actually did up there. Because of the 3 speeches, the speech you planned to give, the speech you thought you gave, and the speech you actually gave. And you probably will know 2 of those 3 speeches. But to know all 3 of those speeches, make sure you record it. Really important, record your speech. Now, after you recorded your speech, listen to your speech. It's really easy to go through something and just record it, but not listen to it. Make sure you take the time to listen to it. This will set you apart from many, many speakers. Many, many speakers. Because you will actually know what you did up there. You may be thinking, hey, Tim, I don't know if I want to say it. Well, one of my old coaches said to me, hey, Tim, the audience had to sit through it. You should have to sit through it. Not a big deal. Your audience went through it. They were fine. No problem. So you can sit through it too. Listen to it. Really listen. As you listen, start thinking. Start thinking about, okay, what are some different problems people may have with this? What are some issues they may have? What are some common objections they may have? Just start going through your mind. At this point, just start thinking about all the different possibilities, all the different objections, all the stuff going on that they could be an issue for in this talk. Then once you've got all that kind of floating around your mind, write it down. Write down your thoughts. Write down your thoughts, because thoughts flowing around can just kind of float here and there, but once you write them down, it becomes serious. And you kind of move into a whole different way of thinking. When they're floating around your thoughts, you're just all these thoughts changing so much, but when you write them down, it's like, that's a real thought. Your mind automatically records it. Okay, that thought's a real. These other thoughts floating around, don't worry about them, but that thought's a real thought. And then once you have them written down, and you see here are the objections people may have, then you say, what's the biggest objection? What's the biggest issue? And you can write down how you solve that. You can write down how you fix that. Write down how you make that biggest issue resolved. So it's not a problem. It's not an issue. So write that down. And that's mind reading. It is very simple, as I promised you from the beginning. And hopefully doing things you already do already. Record yourself. Of course. Listen to the recording. Write down your thoughts. And when you start doing that, you start to become more aware of what you're actually doing, become more aware of what actually is going on, and you start to think about what are the objections, and you start to critically analyze and go over your speech and really get into it in more depth. You'll challenge yourself to create better speeches and create better arguments. Say, wait a minute, this doesn't quite work here. What can you do here? You may even start shifting some of the different parts of your process. Oh, this doesn't quite work, or this doesn't quite work, because you're forcing yourself to look at it from the audience's point of view. And that's the key thing. It's not about you, it's about your audience. This whole process is all about getting yourself out of your head and trying to get yourself as much into your audience's point of view as possible. Run it by other people. See what they think about it. See how it works for them. And once you start doing that, then you get a new sense of confidence and certainty on stage. A certain presence about you. Because when you go up there, you know what common issues are, what the common problems are. So you've got a certain calmness, certain confidence, a certain sense of what's going on. And you can quickly make that connection with your audience. Because automatically, right at the beginning, you say, hey, you may think this doesn't work because of this, but don't worry, it does because of those things. Your audience sits back and relaxes. You know what I'm thinking about. Okay, I'll listen to you. You start mind reading your audience. It's great, and it relaxes you and de-stresses you so much from the way of your speech and what issues could come up in your speech. So for your next speech, hey, try a little mind reading.